Hi, I'm Scott Hanselman. This is another episode of Hansel Minutes. Today I'm chatting with Dominic St Pierre. He is the host of the Go podcast. He's been writing Go Daily since 2014. He is joining me from Quebec in Canada. How are you, sir?
I'm very good. Thank you.
Thanks for hanging out. Interestingly, we are recording this show in a different tool. I usually use another tool. We won't mention its name, but today we're using one called remotely.fm, and we're starting about 20 minutes late. Why are we starting 20 minutes late, Dom?
Well, it was pretty difficult. I don't even know why exactly, but my mic and camera was not working with the other tool, and I don't understand why. I thought it was the screen reader at first. Appears that it was not, so I don't know.
We don't know. But for context, you're a blind developer and you are using a screen reader and accessibility tools to attach to this tool. And I sent you a link to a tool to join my podcast without me necessarily looking at that tool completely and seeing if it was fully accessible. And, we don't know what went wrong. We don't have the time to debug it. But it was a challenging moment there for us to try to figure out, how are you going to join this meeting? And that makes me think about Zoom and Teams and Jitsi and BlueJeans and Google Meet. How often as a blind developer are you bumping into, hey, meet me over there, and then over there isn't accessible for you?
No, totally. And I mean, it's not just in the virtual world, as you might imagine. So yeah, it's a constant battle. That's why I like to say, that I'm a pretty... I like things that don't really change. So that's why I like to stay, very long at my companies and whatnot. And I like to maintain software if we do a small parallel. So, I mean, being in place where I know what's going on and I don't have bad surprises, because I hate to waste my time like that, like you might imagine.
Yeah, there's a comfort thing. Now, this is a silly analogy, and maybe it's okay, maybe it's not okay. But I've talked to you before about how I'm a type 1 diabetic, and people tease me when I eat the same thing. Like I just had Subway sandwiches, brown bread and a steak sandwich. And one time I was visiting a foreign country, and someone teased me for having Subway sandwich and brown bread, and I said, "Well, but I know it, and I know how much insulin, I know how much sugar it has. It's reliable." I can only assume that with any disability, whether it be diabetes or with blindness, that if you are comfortable in your space, you know what's around you, it is like an emotional release. It's less effort to just exist than new places, new stuff constantly.
Oh, yeah, totally. I mean, like you said, this is a constant effort, and the more things that you can control that are not in your way, the day will just be easier, and you will not be completely dead at the end of the day, because that's a toll on yourself at some point, because it's a constant fight, and it's not just conferencing tools, right? It's code as well. It's anything. I mean, anything is a battle. So yeah, that's why sometimes you need to moderate yourself, because yes, you. I just want to do my job and be productive in what I'm doing. And if I fought for 3 hours on something that a sighted person would just have done in 10 minutes, it's hard. Yeah.
I'm curious. Like, my wife was asking me how much diabetes bugs me every day, and it's like 10%. 15% on a bad day, 5%. It's just like a rogue process in Task Manager that's taking up too much space. Now that you've been blind now, how many years?
I'm legally blind since birth, but I have a degenerative disease. So I've been using a screen reader, let's say, for the last 3 years or 3.5. Mm-hmm. But before that, I was using an inverting color in my. I was using Arch Linux with i3 actually. Mm-hmm. No mouse for a long time. That was great. So for me it was slow. So I kind of lived different pain during this entire journey, if you will. Mm-hmm. So yes, it was different challenges, different battles. So now I do have kind of lost my center vision, if you will, and that is the problem for me. So I was always lucky to be able to have a very good centered vision. So that helped me a lot with reading. So that is gone now. So the screen reader is really helpful.
So now that that's changed, using this analogy that I have of like this process you can't control that's taking up a percentage of your life, how much of your life, and I assume it changes on a day-to-day basis, is just blindness? Is it 30%? And it's just like, I can't emotionally fully give myself 100% to this situation because I am fighting with the screen reader, or just blindness has me sad today?
Yes, yeah, 30%. It's so different from one day. I would say it's almost impossible. Just take 2 days ago, my headset broke, my cable broke, and I had to take another headset, and now the screen reader was not pronouncing the same, and I was like, what did he say? What was it? Was it a T, a P? So yeah. It's small things, but yeah, when we accumulate them on a day-to-day, it's pretty hard. But maybe 30%. It's a good estimate.
Which is a lot, because that's 30% you could be doing other stuff for. I'll have a whole day where I won't think about diabetes, and then I'll have another day where I'm having a pity party. And I'm like, oh, this sucks, woe is me. And that's super frustrating. And I'm curious, like there was this skit once on a comedy show, Dom. It was called Saturday Night Live, where a blind person goes on Oprah, and Oprah is like the talk show host. And there's this idea that like the blind person's expectation is they're supposed to inspire us. And Oprah's like, oh, you're so inspirational, and you're working so hard, and we appreciate you so much. And the blind guy in the joke of the thing is like, no, it sucks. It sucks every day. Like, I'm not here to inspire you. I'm here to tell you that this sucks, and you should not, if you can avoid it, avoid being blind, because it's not fun at all. And I wonder if you ever feel like people expect you to inspire them.
Oh yeah. It's a challenge sometimes, and for me, what was difficult earlier in when I was young, for example, it was not really visible that I had an issue. So that was opening a lot of problems. Let's just take at school, for example. At some point near 10, I started to have a really, really hard time to read the board in front, and I wanted to go in the back because I was not really well, I was supposed to sit in the back, but I was not seeing anything. So at some point when you are not really a quote unquote a good student, it's hard to believe from teachers that, well, is it really his eyes, or I don't know, he wants to. So yeah, so for me it was like that at first, more than inspiring people. Just trying to say, well, I'm really legally blind. I understand. So people have difficulties seeing someone that is not fully blind, understanding. It's not a binary thing. It's really there's a lot of grades in there.
That's so true. Disability in general, I think able-bodied people think it's a binary. You're diabetic, no sugar, zero sugar. You're blind, you see nothing. You see blackness. And it's a spectrum. I'm curious, when did this, you said the last 3 years have been rough because you've lost your center vision, and that was just something you knew was coming, or was that a surprise?
Oh yeah, I knew. I was told near 5. I was not supposed to have passed 20. In fact, so they guesstimate and told my mother actually that at 20 I was supposed to be blind. So she did not even. How can I say that? I never returned to an eye doctor for a long time after that, because she wanted me to have a quote unquote normal and childhood. So yes, the last 3 years I knew, but I'm still very grateful for what I had, because I at some point in my life I attended a school for blinds and things like that. So I mean I've seen people with their situation was harder than me, I would say. So yes, I'm grateful for what I had. It was pretty difficult. I really, really love to program. So that was the last thing, because that is the hard part in my life so far, is that I need to let go some things at some point, because I cannot do that. Like I was saying, I was playing hockey at the age of 12, 30. At some point, I cannot do that. And now, I told my wife, I cannot stop to do programming. This is really, really who I am. It's my passion now. So yeah, I was really afraid of how the transition was going to be. Visual Studio Code is a great accessible tool. I'm so grateful for people at Microsoft for putting the efforts that they are doing. And if I can help, I try to open a couple of issues in there here and there, but wow, this tool is great.
That's really good. It's never a good time to have a disability, but it always seem like, since technology is moving forward, that like if you're going to get a thing, now is the time. Like, again, I keep using the diabetes as an example. Like when I had it in the early 90s, it really sucked. And if you were diagnosed today, you have all these tools. Is it easier with the seeing AI tools on the iPhone that you can take a phone and point it at a scene and it will tell you what's happening? Do you use those tools? Do they has blindness sucked less because of the tech improvements?
I'm not a mobile user. That is strange, because I have a lot of friends that are blind as well, and they they use that thing a lot. I don't. To me,
really?
I don't know why. I don't know what it is. Maybe because I'm coming from, before using a screen reader, I was having so many difficulties because it's so tiny on there. Yeah. But yes, no, I'm not. I'm not using that a lot, to be frank. But I see. I've seen it. It seems to be really nice.
Yeah, they're talking about wearing glasses and then walking around and having it click in your ear and tell you turn left, turn right, reading street signs. I've only seen the TikToks. I don't know if it's like it seems to be improving people's lives, but it seems like to your point, everyone's different. So it really depends on your use case.
Yes, and also, I don't know if it's marketing or whatnot. I don't know if we are there yet, but yes, if it's coming like that, and what we are seeing, I was seeing someone that was waiting for a taxi cab, and the thing was saying, well, it's about 15 meters from you and things like that. So
that's cool.
The future is bright, to be frank. This is great. This is yeah.
Yeah, these scene readers are built into the iPhone now. I just got iPhone 18 and it's built in, and it will like look at stuff and tell you what's going on. And we spoke on the phone earlier. Are you an iPhone user or an Android user?
Android, yeah.
No.
Yeah, to be frank, I don't use that at all. I just do phone on that thing. That's it. I'm not reading any PDF. I don't do anything. I'm always on my computer. The computer is good. The computer is reliable.
Yeah.
I like text, all text file and whatnot. So it was sad for me. I needed to quit Linux, to be frank. But I'm on WSL, and as long as it's text, I'm just happy. Yeah.
Windows Terminal works okay for you?
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Cool.
Unfortunately, the Orca is the technology, the screen reader on Linux. It did not work for me. So yes, I did a return on Windows, which is it's okay. It's very, the accessibility is good. There's no question there. So yes.
Hey friends, as I spend the next couple of months learning more and more about AI, in the middle of the show, I'm going to pause for a second and I'm going to bring in Leendert van Doorn, Senior VP of Engineering at Qualcomm, to help me understand more about what's going on. Leendert, at Qualcomm, when you came in, you needed to shift the culture to an open one, and you wrote a manifesto to help people get their heads right. Talk to me about that manifesto.
Yeah, so it feels like every big company needs to go through this kind of culture change to become more open and to adopt certainly open source. And so, yes, I wrote a manifesto where I basically pointed out that our traditional business model, which is around cell phones, which has made us extremely successful, right, doesn't really work or doesn't scale to our new strategy where we're diversifying. We're addressing XR, we're addressing PC, we are addressing IoT, we're addressing auto. key thing about all these new diversified businesses is that open source is a critical part of that business model. And so we needed to adopt that, and we needed to embrace it. And that's basically, it was very well received by my C-suite, and it's very actively something that we're engaging in. So a lot of the open source engagements that you see from a lot of Qualcomm developers, it sort of goes back to, it's a continuation, really. I shouldn't say that I all started it, but I certainly put the emphasis on it. It's like, hey, this is critical and it needs to happen. I'm pretty excited about
I love it. Open first, community first. A lot of great stuff happening at Qualcomm. You can learn more at qualcomm.com/developer. I saw a TikTok a couple of days ago where a young man was using his iPhone to text his friend and talk on, look at Instagram. And the screen reader was going so fast that it sounded just like, and he totally understood it. And I've used screen readers in the early days because vision has been a big part of my diabetes journey. I'm negative 10, 11 diopters, so 20, 1600. I had laser surgery. Now I have cataracts. So blindness is in my future somewhere. So I've always thought about, I need to be familiar with a screen reader because I just don't know where I'm going with this. But I've never been able to get it beyond 100% speed. Did you talk to me about screen readers, how you started with a screen reader and how you get up to speed. And now you're actually listening to music and doing the screen reader at the same time. So walk me through that screen reader journey.
Oh yeah, it was painful, completely painful. To be completely frank, I should have started to use a screen reader like 5 or 6 years ago. I'm
You're just stubborn.
Oh yeah, totally. But it's difficult. It's difficult to accept where you are. And now I'm good with myself. But at that time, and you know what? It's about at that time that I stopped to read documentation. And now I have this API that I need to implement. Oh damn, I need to read, documentation and whatnot. So when I started, it was extremely painful because I had so many reflexes from always using my eyes and whatnot, and it was always in my I don't know, it was in my way, a little bit like Copilot, to be frank, but that's another story. But yeah, to be frank, so it took a long time. I would say I would even say 1 year. It took me 1 year to finally be able to accept that, okay, you know what, this thing is the driver. I will, and now I've started also at that time to bump the speed. So now I'm in the boost mode. So you have 0 to 1%, and after that you have a boost. So I'm now at 30% of the boost, which is, I mean, this thing is reading. Now I'm not afraid. Give me a new product, give me a new library. I don't mind. I will read the documentation. It's reading.
Really? That's
yeah.
Cool.
I never read like at that speed, never in my life. So
wow.
So now I was starting to see, you know what, there is some benefits in that thing. And at the end of my days, I was extremely tired when I was not using the screen reader. My eyes was hurting, my head was hurting. I was not good, with my family. I was like cranky and whatnot. Now, I mean, I'm just cruising. Sometimes I can just close my eyes and do my work, and it's good. It's really
Did it change your brain? Like how it's like exercise, right? So you changed your brain and how it interacts with the screen reader. And if you are sitting writing some code and you need to kind of like sit back and get an overview, like basically what I do is I zoom out and I look at this current function. Do you effectively, I'm putting my hands up in air quotes, do you zoom out and then have it read the function back to you so you can kind of go, what am I doing here? And it reads it really fast and you see the code in your head?
It's funny that you're saying that. So I never were able to do that. So even when I was not using a screen reader, so my problem is actually the field of vision. So normal sighted people has like 180-ish field of vision. I was having like 3 or 2 when I was seeing good. So I never was able to see more than 2 or 3 letters in one look.
Because you're looking through a pinhole.
Yes. Yeah, totally. So I'm extremely good. This is how I met my wife, actually. So I'm actually good at guessing what words are and things like that. So I mean, so no, I'm not doing that. My work memory, I don't know if we can say that in English, but in French we say the work memory. My memory is very good. My short-term and long-term memory.
Your buffer, your short-term buffer is excellent.
Exact. So that is my my superpower, and I have that since the beginning, because I could never see the entire thing. So no, I don't do that, because I kind of remember what was going on. And
that's so interesting, because they always have that thing where you think a blind person or a person who's deaf has some other superpower because their other sense becomes enhanced. Like you have super hearing, but what you have is a really good short-term buffer. You're holding the code and the concepts in your brain and holding it there and manipulating it, but it's not using vision. It's just concepts, right? You're holding the code DOM, if I may. The document object model of your code is in your brain.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is why I like to maintain software for a long time. I have no issues at all doing that, because at some point you can ask me a question. I'm not even on the computer and go, oh yeah, this is in that file near the line 500. People find it completely crazy when I do those kind of things, because I do have the code in my mind somewhere. So
now you're doing Go right now. Like, this might be a dumb question, but it's worth asking. Is there a programming language that is better for blind people, or are they all kind of the same? Like, because you did .NET, you do Go now. Is there one that works better, or is it all just code?
I really enjoy Go, to be frank. It's one of the most accessible, I think, because of the tooling, to be frank. So it's for me, it's all about the tooling, making sure that the compiler is there to help you. And because when you are blind, one difficulties that you have is scanning a huge blob of text. I cannot do that anymore. Right. Scanning across a huge stack trace and whatnot. This is not possible. So you can very quickly spot. Oh yeah, this is my C# file is there across the 1000.
Yeah.
So yes. So Go for me is just a good partner in that way, because it's simple.
What about like the whole problem of the missing semicolon, where you're staring at some code for days and you're just like, oh, there's a comma there, or oh, there's a missing semicolon. Do you count on a linter, or do you have to scan through the code to find those kind of syntax errors?
Yeah, this is linters for me. I was doing a video, I tried to continue doing some content, and I did a video at some point on YouTube, and I was like looking why I have a compilation error, and yes, that was a comma, especially in JSON, for example. That is terrible. So yes, I mean linters all the way. So yes, you need to have tools. You need to have tools, because again, you cannot scan quickly. You have to pass one line at a time, and hear and understand what you are doing there. So because at some point I remember I was able to do that at some point earlier in my career. Just spot a block of code and be able to say that there's a typo there, or there's something there. So
is there a thing that you're the most frustrated with? Like, what do you miss the most? Because we were talking a little bit before that you said maybe you weren't as mobile as you would like physically mobile. Because I can only imagine that working in a virtual world is much easier than like blindly, no pun intended, going and getting on a bus and going to a user group and giving a talk and then coming back. Or maybe Uber has made that easier, because then they can just drop you in front. But it's hard to go outside, I would assume.
Yeah, exactly, because you still need to get out and find the place. So yes. So for me, and this is not blind related. This is me, Dominic St Pierre, because I have a lot of friends that are way more mobile than me. So this is a problem that I always had. I don't know why exactly, but yes, it prevented me from going to conferences, and also probably speaking there and things like that. Because yes, like we were saying at the beginning, you choose your battle, I guess. This to me is hard. This to me, and it's not because people are not helpful, but you always have to ask as well. So this is something that you need to accept at some point. But again, it's not easy, and yes.
But that's personalities, right? Like
yeah.
people are not a monolith. So you can be an introvert and blind, or an extrovert and blind, and it all depends. So that's not blindness that's keeping you from going outside.
No, absolutely, yeah, exactly. It's just that I don't want to face that battle. But yes, it's kind of ridiculous because I've skipped a lot of conferences that I would have liked to attend. So
yeah. But I do want to call out, though, that it's not keeping you from being so productive. You have video courses on Go. You've got your podcasts. You do feel that you want to put stuff out there for people. You're sharing your knowledge. You're everywhere that podcasts can be seen. You sell courses, and then you also have your own business. How do you pronounce it? Kiwipolis?
Yeah, Kiwipolis. Yeah, exactly. Kiwipolis? I've always wanted, because for me, the most important thing for me is I want to have purpose in what I'm doing. So that is why since 2008 I'm trying to build that SaaS that will sustain my family and whatnot. So I was lucky enough to have built a huge system at a company that was acquired by Equifax in 2023. So in 2023, so I was able to have some small exit from that because I was I was there since the beginning. I've built the entire things. It was a small 10 people companies at the first, and when they acquired, it was like 35. So small-ish, but still. So I always wanted to have something from my own and just do it all. Support, sales, anything, marketing and whatnot. So yeah, this is me trying to bootstrap a product. I've been trying that since 2008. So.
And are you the lone developer? Because you're the CTO right now. Do you have any vendors?
Oh no. So CTO in those small bootstrap just mean that you are doing anything. So you are doing the architecture, the infrastructure, the programming, the support. So it's not the CTO like at Cloudflare and whatnot. So it's just a title. I'm just a software engineer.
But if you can't have a single software engineering business and name yourself CTO, then what are you doing? Like you gotta
totally.
Chief technical. CTO is a great title, no matter whether you're the only dev or not. So give yourself credit for that.
Well, we are all doing that. So I'm part of this small community. So Basecamp's kind of started that a long time ago. Tried to bootstrap, and they were not very very. They were not saying that they got some funding. So they did took some funding from Jeff Bezos at first. But yeah, they kind of started this this movement of people that just want to self-fund a small product and just do a software business, and this is what I'm trying to do.
Mm-hmm. So the Kiwipolis, it's kiwi like the fruit, polis like a metropolis.
Yeah.
This is a homeschooling planner. So this is a planner that supports you as you homeschool your kids and manage your basically your family life.
Exactly, yeah, and there's a 2D game aspect to that. So how blind is doing a 2D game? Well, I don't know. This is kind of crazy. So yes. So just take a bug. I fixed a bug this morning. So I'm not able to move my character in the world. So when you think about that, a 2D game is just math at the end of the world, end of the day. So yes, it's kind of crazy. But yeah,
I'm curious. Do you make it accessible simply because, like, do you have blind customers, or do you just make it accessible for yourself?
No, it's not accessible. Unfortunately, I just have a lot of shortcut key that just allow me to move and skip the collision detection and whatnot. So it's not accessible because it's a canvas game. So yes, it's not. Yeah.
So you found your way in Go. You're making a software as a service app in Go. You've done Go courses, and you also do the Go podcast at gopodcast.dev, and you have other friends on the show as well. When did you discover Go, and when did you decide that that was the language that you were going to be sticking with the rest of your life? Because it really seems like you lit up when you found Go.
Oh yeah. But yes, I was like that in my early careers when I was doing .NET, to be frank. But that's after 12, 13 years, I wanted to just discover what's out there. And after being bitten by Link and Silverlight and whatnot, I mean, I was like, you know what? I want to check something else. So I did 1 year of Node, and I was like, oh no, okay, this is not going to work for me. So at that time, I was looking, like I was saying, for the most comfortable developer experience in terms of CLI and the build tool and the kind of relationship that you have with the compiler. That I can say that. So Go, when I used it, first of all, it was so simple that I liked it. And another thing that I really enjoy being a blind person is that, well, they were kind of the first to do formatting and things like that with an opinionated way and things like that. So all the projects, all the code base that you will see will mostly be formatted the same. And for a blind user, I use Tab. So, for me, it's just a no-brainer, because when you are using a screen reader, when you have spaces, you need to hear them and things like that. I mean, So Go just clicked. I don't exactly know why, but it's very accessible.
It makes me wonder, like, this might be a bad joke or like an off-color joke, but like, I hate YAML. And I wonder if blind people hate it equally, because I'm always looking at a YAML file and like the spacing is wrong, the indenting is wrong. And I have, today working eyes, and I still can't get that damn thing to format. I would just never, how would you even find spaces versus tabs, white space issues in a tool like that? You'd have to have it read out each white space and debug that.
Yeah. Absolutely. I can tell you I pass a couple of hours at once because yes, exactly like that.
Okay, you hate YAML too.
Oh yeah,
then we are totally. We're joined in our hate for YAML.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, yeah, exactly. It's there. Wonderful. It's there. We cannot undo that, I guess.
Yeah. White space is not good. Well, thank you so much, Dominic St Pierre, for chatting with me today. It's been just wonderful learning about your work and your outreach and all the great stuff that you're doing online. And folks can support you at gopodcast.dev, and also check out your startup at KiwiPolis, KiwiPolis.com. I'll put links in the show notes. And then at DominicStPierre.com, you can check out his video courses as well on working with Go. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Scott.
This has been another episode of Hansel Minutes, and we'll see you again next week.